Good. Good morning, Commissioners, Executive Director Schmidt, PGC staff, legislative staff, and fellow hunters. My name is Jonathan Furness. I'm the Board Secretary for Pennsylvania Federation of Sportsmen and Conservationists. I'm here to speak to you today about some data and statistics I've found in regard to the population in Pennsylvania and changes that have occurred over the last several decades. I believe these facts shed some light on the why of the decline in hunting license sales we have seen over the last 40 plus years. Hopefully it will dispel some of the myths of the past and the present. In a recent report from the Center for Rural Pennsylvania titled Pennsylvania Population Projections 2050, Analysis of Future Youth from September 2024. There's some very shocking, interesting, and very telling statistics. The full report is in the packet. In this report, you'll see that Pennsylvania's population of youth from 0 to 19 years of age has been on a significant downward trajectory from a peak of 4,094,626 in 1970, down to 2,983,663 in 2022. That's 1,110,963 less Pennsylvania residents aged 0 to 19. Why is this significant, you ask? Well, the peak of Pennsylvania hunting license sales was 12 years after our peak in 0 to 19 age population. The age to start hunting back then was 12 years old. Since 1982, we've seen a decrease in hunting license sales from 1.3 million down to about 850,000 in 2023. That's 35%. Most of that decline was from 1982 to 2018. Some will claim it's a management issue, a product problem, or any number of reasons to blame you, the commission, but that dog don't hunt. From 1960 to 2020, our statewide youth population is down 25%. The decline is even more in our rural populations. Rural populations of youth are down 34.4%, while urban Pennsylvania is down 22%. I find this significant because the Pennsylvania rural population is more likely to hunt than the urban population. From 2020 to 2022, our rural counties have seen some of the biggest youth population declines. Forest County is down 79%, Venango County down 31.5%, Sullivan County down 58%, Cameron County down 44%, Susquehanna County down 32%. 55 of our 67 counties saw a decline in youth population. As we see less and less youth in Pennsylvania, a drop in license sales to youth is inevitable. Not to be discouraged though, recent changes from 2018 to present seem to have slowed the decline. From 2013 to 18, we lost 28,010 youth license sales over all the youth categories. From 2018 to 2023, with added opportunities in new license categories, we only lost 4,634. Increase in population of seniors is also a concern. In a report from the Center for Rural Pennsylvania titled Rural Pennsylvania's Aging Population dated July 23rd, these statistics are detailed. You'll also find this in your packet. From 2010 to 2020, there was a 23% increase in seniors in rural PA and a decline in youth of 11%. It's predicted that from 2021 to 2028, 44,000 rural Pennsylvanians a year will turn age 65. So from now to the end of 2028, that's 176,000 more rural seniors. 24 of 67 counties have more seniors than youth. These are all rural counties. This is great for the short term because we have seen the increase in senior license over the past decade. But long term, it sets us up for future declines. Continually increasing populations in age, let's skip ahead here, is also a problem in neighboring states like Ohio, New York, Virginia, and New Jersey. All are seeing the same population declines. In Ohio, Pennsylvania, both our youth seniors have become nearly equal percentages. According to the U.S. Census Bureau of 2020 and 2022, population contracted in all of these states. I say this to show the cards are stacked against us and all license sales declined is inevitable. From 2018 to 2023, license sales changed. Pennsylvania is statistically unchanged. Ohio is down 9.6%. West Virginia down 6.3%. New Jersey is down 6.9%, while New York is up 3%. What do these have in common? The three that have continually declined license sales open their firearm season on a Monday. Pennsylvania, New York on a Saturday. While opening on a Saturday may not be the only factor, it's certainly beneficial.
Hey,
Yep, I'm done.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Denny Duza.
Good morning, President Ferrador, Commissioners, Executive Director Smith, and staff. My name is Dennis Duza, and in interest of full disclosure, a former Game Commission employee that retired on April 12, 2012. For the most part, 35 years that brought a lot of satisfaction to my life. Looking back, I'm not sure what else I could have done that would have been more rewarding. I'd like to briefly touch on a couple of subjects that have generated some discussion over the past couple of years. Rifle deer season opener falling on a Saturday. For years, we have had Saturday season openers for small game and turkeys. No big deal. Seasons came, seasons went. When I began my career in 1977, there were approximately 1,250,000 licensed hunters. Today, we probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 750 to 800,000 hunters. A substantial drop over 48 years for sure. With less hunters afield, it is pretty obvious a concerted effort to recruit new hunters and entice former hunters to rejoin the field is desperately needed. How do you do that? By making getting outdoors a little easier. In today's world of constant job demands, recreational time has become a precious commodity. Saturday deer openers help school-age children extend their hunting opportunities. It helps those with limited vacation time to better consolidate their hunting trips. In short, it works. While still working, there was always a group of hunters that wouldn't give an inch with any new proposal, whether it was trying to bring the deer herd in line with available habitat by increasing doe license allocations, antler restrictions, Sunday hunting, and now Saturday deer openers. They continue to be vocal, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised, some things never do change. Second item, every so often, misinformed movement gets some political traction regarding the Game Commission's land purchasing practices. Let's be perfectly honest. If previous commissioners hadn't had the foresight to begin buying land in 1919, there would not be a Pennsylvania Game Commission. It would be some bureau tucked in this corner of some larger, all-encompassing department. Acquiring land over the past 100 years not only provided property for the public to hunt on, it also presented the opportunity to generate revenue through the sale of timber, leasing right-of-ways, and most recently, the windfall of the Marcellus gas field development. The amount of money currently in the game fund is jaw-dropping. Continuing to buy land to offset some of the disruptions of gas development is a reasonable thing to do. Please continue to look for opportunities to acquire land. It is a good investment that pays countless dividends, not the least being increased hunting opportunities. Recently, there was an effort to transfer money from the game fund to the Clean Streams Initiative. Fortunately, a groundswell of protests from the sportsmen put a temporary halt to this endeavor. The Game Commission can and should participate in this program, and they can do that by buying large tracts of land along impacted polluted streams such as Beach Creek, Meshannon Creek, Clearfield Creek, and Little Clearfield Creek, to name a few, for I am familiar with in the North Central region. When teaming up with the DEP's Bureau of Abandoned Mine Reclamation, we were able to clean up water, we were able to clean up land, and when you do that, everybody wins. I see I still have a few minutes, so I'm just going to go off the cuff. And I guess some of your field trips, if you get a chance to go to the Benezet, up to the elk range, take a trip a little bit further up the Bennett Branch to go to the treatment plant at the Hollywood. DEP put that in years ago. It drained 9 mines, deep mines, and in essence, 1 year later, there was trout in that Bennett's Branch. And you look at it now, if you're not familiar with being there 12 years ago or so, it was just pure orange. Everything was just dead. And by having public land all along that Bennett's Branch, you're securing access. And another one that's coming online, maybe you might think about going to visit, There's a treatment plant down in Vittendale, my hometown. And I never thought I'd catch a trout out of Black Lake Creek, but I was able to do that. And there's a treatment plant coming on there, goes through game lands, and then it gets to this treatment plant. And there's another piece of game lands down below that, public access. It's going to clean up 22 miles of stream. So anybody who starts complaining about Clean Streams Initiative, buy land, you'll be better off. Thanks.
Ed Sadler.
Good morning, Commissioners and Executive Director Schmidt. My name is Ed Sadler, and I'm the Vice President West for the Pennsylvania Federation of Sportsmen and Conservationists. I'm here today to tell you what's been going on at the Federation in the last 6 months and keep you updated with what we are doing. In October, we issued a public statement supporting Sunday hunting, the Saturday rifle opener, the North American model for wildlife conservation, and science-based wildlife management. In late December, we issued a statement sharing our support of reestablishing the Wildlife Committee structure and the public review of current topics. We support the items passed out of that committee at that time: the expansion of the red tag program, the removal of the 6 antlerless limit tags in the southeast, and also the limiting of the elk license to 10% for non-residents, and supporting those applying for a license to having to have a license. We think that's important. We'd also like to thank you for showing restraint and not making other change until the total impact of the potential Sunday hunting and the new red tag program are realized. It shows that you're not about a kill all deer agenda and will proceed using real data and science-based information. The supermajority approval component of the committee structure is brilliant and helps make sure the vast majority want change. We also like the fact that things that did not make it out of the most recent meeting are not dead, but can be reapplied, re-brought forth once there's more information gathered to make the correct decisions. That, yet again, is an important component that we believe it should be there. It's also important to note that after our most recent releases throughout the state, that the Federation has grown in the last 2 months by over 4,200 members, paying members, all right? Most notably, in Westmoreland County, Youngwood Sportsmen's Association, and from Allegheny County, Pitcairn Monroeville Sportsmen's Association is now a member of the Pennsylvania Federation of Sportsmen. They are also part of the Allegheny County Sportsmen's League, if you don't know. This, we believe, is directly resulting from the things that you're doing, providing additional opportunity for the sportsmen in the state, and we encourage you to continue to do that. Thank you.
Next is Mike Kreiner.
Commissioner. Good morning. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here in front of you with the public comment. Just handing out the PFSC newsletter for the quarter. Most of the items that we're talking about here today in the public are in there, and just want to make sure we're kind of putting it all out there in front of everybody. I'm kind of a broken record. I'm always up here talking about public comment, how important it is, communication, how excited I am that many more people are out here today. It's really boring when we get here and there are 3 public commenters and then we sit down real quick and then go in the board meeting. I'm sure the commissioners love to kind of get the business done and get back home, but it's exciting. And I will say, I hate to say this when I'm at the Capitol. I lobby for a living, so I talk way too much, but it gets boring to say ditto. But for the most part, I'd say 93% of everything that's been mentioned today, the PFSC is 100% behind everything stated in that regard. There are some things that we probably disagree with you on, and we do, that were stated today. We're very much supportive of the Saturday opener. We're very supportive of Sunday hunting. We understand, though, that everyone here, we're part of a family. We're the wildlife community. I mean, Randy and I don't agree on most of the items talked about today, but I love him. I'm glad that he's here advocating for what he's doing. We're all lobbyists. I get paid to do that on behalf of the Federation. But I say this to everybody on election day. If you're going to complain about how the government's being run or any agency, like if you're not going to show up to the meetings, shame on you. And I will say this, some of you talk very well, better speakers than I am on the issues you're here talking about today, but you're only here every quarter. Take advantage of calling commissioners, calling the commission. I know that some people might think that they never get responded to. I've been very fortunate. The commission is great. They're volunteers. Thank you for taking the time to do what you do to kind of help us out. And what I will say is this, I know I've probably ran on too much here, but there are legislative committees I work with on the Hill that are very important. The Game and Fish Committee is always usually the members with the least amount of tenure get put on those committees because they always looked at them as being very low on the totem pole. What I will tell you is, and I was just taking notes from just what people talked about today, wildlife management, crop damage, agriculture impact, #1 industry in Pennsylvania, the economies of scale, community, license sales, job opportunities, forest management, youth opportunities, social opportunities, land use planning, population trends, public health and safety with regard to hitting deer on the side of the road if we're not doing a good job of managing the numbers, food for our families. Those are just a few items. I will tell you, when I go back to the Capitol on Monday, I'm going to tell the legislative leaders they're making a mistake by just putting freshman members on the Game and Fish Committee. There are more issues in the Game and Fish Committee and what the commissioners are dealing with here than any other committee we have in Harrisburg except for the Appropriations Committee. So I'll just say this. Process improvements at the commission, thank you. The Wildlife Committee meeting structure, I'm sure it needs to change a little bit, but I thought it was awesome. Thank you for doing that. Job well done. Balance. Randy mentioned about this Game and Fish Committee meeting in the House, and I'll be speaking at as well on behalf of the PFSC with regard to the Saturday, Monday opener. I welcome the conversation. I think it's going to be a good conversation. I will say this. Thank you that the Game Commission is able to do the seasons of bag limits that you're going to be doing today, and then again in April, every year. It's a balance. All those items I just mentioned change. Things change. I mean, I know the Monday versus Saturday opener has changed people and communities. I get it. Personally, I think it's a good change. I think it works for our organization, our members as well. But there's a balance. All these items we just talked about, you're able to change that every year. Be careful what you ask for. I do it for a living up at the Capitol, and I've mentioned this before. Try to keep Harrisburg out of, and the Capitol out of our decisions if at all possible. I know there are statutory changes needed, but that's the one last thing I just wanted to say. I know that in family squabbles, people get upset when things aren't going our way. Let's keep talking. Change can happen, and by you being here today, that's important. So a very generalized statement from me. I appreciate the commission's time and everything you guys do and the staff, and I appreciate the community for being part of it. You're a lot smarter than the lobbyists that I deal with in the Capitol on a daily basis, and I can't thank you enough for all of your opinions and kind of your statements. So thank you, and I'm glad to be part of your community.
John Zimian.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here today. Glad to hear all the viewpoints from the hunters in the state. Glad to have the commission here as an audience to listen to all of you and to what we have to say. My name is John Zemian, and I'll mention a couple things about myself. First time I came to meet with Game Commission officials, I was a teenager, and they were still in the South Office building down by the Capitol. I mean, that's a long time ago. I don't know if anybody remembers when their offices were over by the Rotunda. But I've been involved with the Game Commission ever since. And I'm in my 70s now, and I was a teenager then. So I lived in Cinnamahoning. I've worked in Cameron, Elk, and McKean County for 36 years with the Game Commission. Hunted and fished up there even longer. And was a member of Cinemahoning Sportsmen, Unified Sportsmen, and life member of the Pennsylvania Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs. So I try to remain involved. What I'm here for today is I'm with the Kinzu Equality Deer Cooperative these days, and we are a group of people that works in the woods every day of the year. We take a good look at the habitat, at the forest, and we try to do what is right for wildlife and for forests and for the people that use them. So with that in mind, what I want to mention first is in wildlife management, you have to make decisions, and you got to do them based on science and research, and then also on social input. But it's not always just a popularity contest. You can't manage wildlife just by popularity. So sometimes you got to make decisions that are unpopular. That's okay, because it's good for wildlife sometimes. Just remember that. From the information we gather from our deer check station, from our deer population surveys, from our surveys of the habitat, what's growing, what's not growing, we make the following recommendations. First of all, keep the concurrent season and keep the Saturday, Sunday opener. Why? The concurrent season gets more hunters harvesting antlerless deer along with the male deer, the bucks, keeps the hunters spread out. When you had the separated season, not even half of the hunters would show up. So the Saturday, Sunday opener, we count the vehicles parked on our 74,000 acre study area, which is all open to public hunting. It's private land, it's public land. And since 2019, we've had 10 to 15% more cars parked the first day of hunting season than we did prior to the Saturday, Sunday opener. So we see more hunters using it. And our second recommendation is the week between Christmas and New Year's. Almost everybody's out of school, college students, high school students, and a lot of people have vacation time. Possibly look at DMAP areas being open to rifle use in that time period. I know that'll upset maybe some flintlock hunters, and I love flintlock hunting. That's my favorite season. I've gotten 25 deer with a flintlock, more than with a rifle. But I'd be glad to share that with rifle hunters for 1 week and still have my other 2 or 3 weeks of flintlock hunting. And I think we could give more opportunity to a lot of people during that week. And then there's a week before Christmas where flintlock hunters could have that week too. There's a lot of things you could look at. Now, the next thing is CWD. It's a real problem. It continues to spread, and we continue to encourage you to keep populations lower than what people are used to help slow the spread of CWD. I mean, we don't know how to stop it. We don't know how to cure it, but we do know that by keeping the population lower, the spread slows down, and that's the one good thing. And I lost my notes here, but I had a fourth point. I'll find it in a second. Oh yeah, invasive plants. I heard Dan here talk about invasive plants, and one of the good things when you keep deer in balance with the environment, the native plants get a chance to grow. Matt talked about the little oak trees. He sees more deer than he sees little oak trees in places. It's important to get not only the little oak trees, but the wildflowers and all those other hundreds of different plants growing for good deer habitat. So a lot of good things are going on out there. We've seen the benefits of the changes that the commission has made in the last few years. And keep up the good work, even though you're not always the most popular people. And the last thing I will say is to the whole group here, if you want to contact the Kinzu Quality Deer Cooperative, we have a website, kqdc.com. Look us up. Come on up. We'll take you for a hike in the woods. Any of you, all of you. We'll show you around, and we'll show you why we base our recommendations as we do. I thank you for your time. I think the commission's been given public access to comments for over 100 years now, so thank you.
Next is Mitch Krick.
Good morning, members of the Pennsylvania Game Commission Board of Commissioners. My name is Mitchell Krick, and I am proud to serve as the State and Local Affairs Specialist for Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. In this role, I work to connect Pennsylvania's farming community with government leaders and stakeholders across the Commonwealth, and I advocate for their policies set forth by our members. To provide some background for those of you that do not know, Pennsylvania Farm Bureau operates through a grassroots structure. policies we advocate for originate from our members at the county level. Those policies are debated and voted on during our annual convention with every county represented. This ensures that everything I and the rest of our government relations team advocate for reflects the priorities of our members, not the staff or even the board of directors. Throughout my time with the Farm Bureau, wildlife conservation has remained the top priority for our members. The issue of crop damage has had a devastating financial impact, costing farmers millions of dollars annually, and in some cases, threatening their ability to remain in operation. Addressing this challenge is central to our mission, and I want to acknowledge the important role the Game Commission has played as a partner in this effort. I also want to emphasize that while we may not always agree on how to address the challenges before us, I know for certain we are united on the why. We all share a commitment to preserving Pennsylvania's natural resources, supporting agriculture, and ensuring the sustainability of our rural communities. One example of our shared focus on crop damage mitigation has been the inclusion of Sunday hunting as an additional tool to help address this growing issue. Our members' decision during our annual meeting 2 years ago to support Sunday hunting was not made lightly, but it was driven by the severity of crop damage and the need for innovative solutions. Moving forward, our continued support of Sunday hunting is contingent on practical measures such as stronger trespass laws, updating a system to connect farmers with reputable hunters, and ensuring agricultural landowners have adequate representation on this board. These are key steps in fostering trust and collaboration between farmers, landowners, and hunters. We also want to express our support for maintaining the Saturday opener for rifle season. This has been a reasonable and effective approach that accommodates the interests of both hunters and landowners, and we believe it should remain in place. Looking ahead, we support different measures that increase the resources and tools available to farmers to combat crop damage, whether through fencing, mobile processors, expanding ag tag numbers, and the length of the seasons, or other existing programs. It's essential to provide farmers with the means to manage wildlife impacts in a way that protects their livelihoods and respects the balance between conservation and agriculture. In closing, I want to thank this board for your partnership and your commitment to Pennsylvania's agricultural and rural communities. While the challenges we face are significant, I believe by working together we can continue to make progress for the benefit of farmers, hunters, and all Pennsylvanians. Thank you for your time and for allowing me the opportunity to speak today.
Well, that concludes our public comment session. I want to sincerely thank, on behalf of the commissioners, all the testimony that was given. We appreciate your time and commitment to the resources and to the issues at hand. With that being said, we are going to adjourn for a bathroom break. It's 10:28. Let's reconvene. I would say 20 minutes, but by the time people talk, let's reconvene at 11 a.m. for the full meeting. Thank you.